those people behind her.
Thank you, Sonny.
Hey, Ron, what is the next step you want to see the defense take this week that they can improve on? As JT Tui Molowau said, everything.
Right. That's the way I feel, too. I think,
past that, go ahead.
I think it would say everything. Everything. Yeah, I mean, getting 3 and outs, getting off the field on third down. I mean, you can name everything. You know, every area of our game has got to improve, you know, across the board, and that's what we're looking at it right now. We got a long road ahead of us, and we got to keep trying to find those inches.
Bill Rabinowitz, over to the left.
Gabe Powers had the touchdown last week. How much of a springboard could that be? What did you see from him this year?
Well, I think for guys to actually do it in a game, it can build confidence and just say, okay, you know, I can do it in a game now because I've actually, you know, done it. And, you know, hopefully that can build on his confidence to know that, you know, he needs to be a contributor for us. And we need to play as many guys as we possibly can. So plays like that make a difference. And, you know, we're going to need all these guys to play. And, you know, Gabe's a part of special teams as well. And so hopefully that can springboard and move forward.
Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle, to the left.
Right, Ryan, we talked to Brandon in this. What kind of a responsibility is that to be the team's punt returner?
Well, anybody who carries the ball is really, you know, the whole team is in their hands. So we talk a lot about ball security and how important that is. And the decisions that have to be made as a returner, certainly a punt returner in particular, are very critical. So these are very big decisions that he has to make on when to field it, when to fair catch it, when to return it, you know, pooch situations, when to let it go for a touchback, you know, these types of things in the battle of field position. So you know, that's a big decision. Emeka's been back there in the past. So Brand's someone that we trust, and we trust him for a lot of reasons. But you know, he has to continually understand that the decisions he makes are going to affect our team's success in terms of the field position game. If he can continue to do and make decisions he made this past game and take care of the football, then he can be a weapon for us.
Andy Backstrom, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Ryan, for you. You mentioned yesterday expecting more production from the tight end room going forward. Were you speaking to like involvement in the pass game? What does that look like to you?
Yeah, they you know, they're a big part of our offense, and you know, I know they only got a couple targets this past game, but they'll get more targets in that. They've worked really hard. They'll continue to do that. They're involved in all phases, and you know, you're seeing some of those guys. I think the unit's improving overall, and so you'll see, you know, more and more as the season goes on. You know, more tight ends in the game in groupings, but also you know, more involved with in terms of touching the ball.
Jeff Gilbert, Press Pros.
JT talked about Western Michigan, physical up front. I thought they were pretty good. What are you seeing, and what's the challenge for the defense against that team this week?
Well, I think when you watch the film, you're seeing them play a Big Ten opponent, which gives us a little bit more of a barometer of what we're dealing with. And they played Wisconsin strong. They're physical up front, like you said. They do have some really good skill players. So, you know, it looked like a Big Ten style of game just overall. And there was a point where that game was in the balance. And I know that has our guys' attention.
Austin Ward, the podcast.
Ryan, when Sonny was sitting there, he made it sound like moving the mic was no big deal. What's your level of appreciation for what he did on short notice, but also just because we spent the last 9 months talking about him learning Will and then having to go over there, get the headset, the communication, run that defense, the whole deal. Like, I wonder if you can maybe pat him on the back more than he wanted to.
Right. No, he's a very serious young man for his age, very mature, and came in early, and you know, because of all of that, he's matured even quicker than we could have thought. But to make that move from safety to linebacker, and then, like you said, making that jump, it shows, you know, the work that he's putting in off the field that nobody sees. And I think that's the part for a lot of our guys, especially when you're young. It's hard to appreciate that all the work that gets put in just gives you a chance to go play. Without that hard work, you're not going to go perform the way that, you know, we all expect everyone to perform. And so Sonny has put it in the weight room. You know, what he did with Coach Mick in the offseason was tremendous. So physically, he's put on the weight. He's done that part of it. But it's in the film room. It's, you know, working with James and defensive guys in terms of, you know, extra film, watching it after practice, asking questions. And you know, I'll sit in on some of the linebacker meetings, and he's answering the questions. He's very, very involved in everything that goes on. And the other part of it was, as the Mike linebacker, you're communicating with the earpiece all the defensive calls. So he had that on his plate as well. So a good example of somebody who, and that's going to pay off down the road for him. But very versatile, and his ability to play multiple positions down the road just helps his overall value and his overall football IQ.
Bill Landis, Kings of the North.
Right, you said yesterday you thought Marvell probably earned a little more playing time with the way he performed on Saturday.
Yeah.
How far ahead is he of where you guys thought he might be, especially given that he didn't play linebacker last year? It's such a hard position, yet he seems to have taken to it.
Well, I think in year 2 is kind of that year where you like to see guys take strides, but he's still, he'll tell you, he's still, there's things he's still working through, but he plays hard. He plays hard, and we can work with that. At the end of the day, we always say the coaches, we'll own the mistakes. You just got to play hard, and we'll coach you up, but we got to make sure we demand effort, and he does that. He goes really hard. So we can work with guys like that when they're giving great effort and they show physicality. The other stuff is going to come. I do think that he put in the second half of last week, put the preparation he needed to in terms of off the field, which allowed him to play faster as well. And we've talked about that before, how important that is. So he needs to continue to build on that routine, and then it just becomes now the consistency of doing that on a week-to-week basis. But if he does that, then he's going to play a lot of football this season.
Steve Hellwagen, 24/7 Sports.
Coach, just checking in on Cody Simon, Donovan Jackson. Have they practiced? Either one or both apply?
Yeah, they both practiced today, and they're both still day-to-day right now.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Just following up with Brandon, I think when that guy got here, he probably envisioned a much different role, much bigger role within the offense going into the second year. But obviously some things changed, but he seems to have very much embraced this punt return role. Having a guy like that embrace that type of a role, maybe uncomfortable where he thought they would go, what does that do for him in his career, maybe his development overall as a person and as a
No, I think he's done great. For somebody that came in last summer, even to get to where he was at midseason last year was tremendous. And he is going to be a big part of our offense this season. We're just getting going with that. But the great receivers we've had, they're very much involved with special teams, and he's done that already. But we're going to keep getting him in the game and trying to find ways to get the ball in his hands, because not only is he a playmaker, but he's also got a great way about him. He's got a great energy about him. He's got a physicality, a toughness, a grittiness that is just contagious. And he's a guy you like to be around. And the guys really rally around him. So a big part of our offense this season.
And last question, Pat Murphy, Bucknell.
Brian, when you have a debut like Jeremiah did, how do you respond next week and throughout the season to make that, I don't know, the norm, but to build on such an impressive debut?
I mean, just working and just continuing to get better. There's some things in that game that he certainly wishes he had back, but also has had some good plays as well, and there's a lot to coach through there. But he's got a great work ethic, and if he just keeps practicing the way he's practicing out here, he goes and he goes and he goes, and he works hard. And now on a week-to-week basis, the game plan will change. There'll be tweaks along the way, different formation changes, different schemes, and so now you got to take a Tuesday and a Wednesday and put it on the field. Tuesday is first and second down. Third down in red zone is today. And so you get that meeting, and then you got to go put it on the field, and you only may get a few reps, during the week of that play in particular. And so that's a new experience that he's going to have to, learn to do. But the work ethic's there, the attitude's there, and certainly the talent's there.
Great.